There's no greater joy than watching your son or daughter catch their first fish and embark on a lifelong journey experiencing the great outdoors.
That's right, Bree. This week, it's all about the kiddos on the Texas Insider Fishing Report, which starts now.
Welcome to the Texas Insider Fishing Report. Presented by Yamaha.
Welcome back to the Texas Insider Fishing Report, and like we just said, this week we are focusing on the future of fishing for our special themed Kids Edition show, right, Rick?
You're absolutely right, Bree. You know, the cool part about taking kids fishing is it's just about them.
Yes.
You know, and that's one of the things that I really love about it. And to see their little faces, whether it's catching a little pinfish for bait, or
it makes you slow down and just appreciate those small moments.
Or even a little bank runner bass, you know, a 12-inch bass.
Yeah.
To me, that's what it's really all about. And it's really important as parents to make sure, or grandmas and grandpas or whatever, it's important to get them out there.
You are correct. Well, getting the little ones hooked and involved early, like we just said, is so important. So before we see how our first guide is doing that, let's say hi to Dave Farrell at the Yak Gear Workbench. Dad of 3, got any tips over there or what?
Well, we will. When I do the rigs and techniques, we're going to go through all these things here. I've got a whole bunch of stuff here to try to ensure that you have some sort of success, because that's what you know, if you don't have much success, then they may lose interest, and we want them to try to get them on the fish immediately. Immediately.
All right, well, we're taking the kids fishing in the lower Fresh region, so let's dive into summer with Matt Reed. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Brave, let's get this thing kicked off. You know, I truly enjoy every day that I get to share the boat with youngsters. That's just an awesome time for me. You know, the older I get, I think the more I appreciate it and enjoy it. The biggest key is to cater the day to their skill level, because action is absolutely necessary. If you have really young kids, targeting panfish is your best, your best thing to do. Just get you some earthworms and crickets under a bobber. There's been many a kid's passion for fishing that started watching that cork or bobber go under and catch a bluegill. As they mature, learning to chase a bass is on their horizon if they strive for it. I truly love feeding the knowledge to those that have the desire to learn. I promise the rewards are well worth the time you put into it to see the smiles when they succeed. Man, a lot of these kids nowadays are just sponges. They can learn it as fast as you can feed it out there. Got 2 pictures from some kids. You know, both of these sets of pictures are from a kids camp that I participate in, most every year. At first, when you got 3 fish in the boat at one time, no, they're not big, but there's smiles on everybody's face. And the other one is a couple of them just when you see that look on a young guy's face, a young gal's face in the boat, that's all you can ask for, is just total smiles from ear to ear.
Sure does. All right, tell us about the largemouth bass, Matt.
Let's kick that off. Mike Bates sent a report from Choke Canyon. Says not much has changed. It did get some rain to bring the lake up just a little bit. Still plenty of bass in that 2 to 5 foot of water. They're chasing the threadfin shad up there all day. Square bills, rattle traps, and swim baits. I've been working well. Later, you want to move out to that 10 to 15 foot range. Those fish are biting Texas rigs, heavy shaky heads, and Carolina rigs with big plastics on them. There's also plenty of bass in the brush piles. They seem to be mostly smaller, though, the ones that are in the man-made brush piles. Texas rig worms are your best option for that. The numbers and size have still been really good for this time of year. Kurt Dove sent me a report from Lake Amistad. It's definitely full-blown summer pattern now. It's hot in South Texas. There's a short window of top water action early in the morning. Then after that, it's nearly all fishing deep in that 15 to 30 foot range out on the rock ledges. That's been the most productive. Football jigs and plastics and watermelon red are your go-tos. There are some fish schooling in the afternoon. Best way to keep up with those is with your forward-facing sonar. You can follow the fish, the shad and the fish, and target them when they're active on them. Brian Cotterson report from Lake Bastrop. It's going strong. The schooling bass are in the discharge early in the morning, and later they're out in front of the dam, more so toward the north end of it. Using clear, small top waters and swim baits are great on those school fish. Another thing that's going on, you can throw a Texas rig worm on the outside edge of the grass. Catch those fish later in the day. Lake Buchanan is fishing well. You find you some rock piles, and you can get them on top waters and swim baits and crankbaits on those rock piles. You can't get them to actively chase moving baits. Pick up your Texas rig worm and keep catching them throughout the day. Fayette County is fishing really well right now also, mostly on the main lake, road beds and points. Crankbaits, football jigs, and Carolina rigs have been your best presentation. Green pumpkin and watermelon red have been the colors for your plastics on all of those type of options. There's also some fish along the dam. Throw you a crankbait down the rocks, and there's those fish are relating to those rocks like they do on most places. Also, they're on the rocks on the discharge. So get out there and catch you some summertime bass. Got two pictures here. One of them, the young man, is a Greg Boyd's client with a nice fish. The second is one of my South Texas young clients. Reed's got him a big old falcon bass in his hand.
Yes, he does. All right, thank you for starting us off, Matt. We're going to go and take a look at the hot spots from the lower fresh region. Matt says that Lake Amistad is super low, but fishing well. The early morning topwater bite lasts for about an hour or so, and then you just want to throw that jaywalker for some good action. Then later, throw a Texas rig on the rocks and ledges in 15 to 25 feet for continued action, Bree.
That's what we like to hear. All right, Matt Loescher in the Startron Middle Fresh region is constantly showing off the kids' toothy grins in his reports, so let's see what his secrets are to a successful day. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Bree. Yeah, we'll tell you. So, for me, it's always a blast to take the kids fishing. When they get excited reeling in a fish, it puts a smile on my face every time. I'm just really thankful that I get to take so many of them every year. It's a blessing to share the outdoors with them. And I encourage all the parents to just get them out there. I'm going to second a lot of what Matt said. Whether it's just fishing from the bank for bluegill or going on a guided trip, whatever you got to do, just let them go and have fun. Don't take things too serious. It's not all about the number of fish that you catch. Just make sure they enjoy themselves. Try to keep a lot of action going and take them in when they've had enough. Don't overdo it. I recommend definitely starting out with the bluegill or the crappie and then moving on to bass fishing. If you're in my region, that's kind of the way we normally do it. They usually enjoy the boat riding a lot, too. Don't forget about a boat ride. They love a good boat ride. They like to look at the turtles and the birds. It's fun to show them wildlife that they don't normally see. So let them enjoy that stuff. They also love to just cast and reel in. Sometimes when I take my son Fisher out bass fishing with me, I'll just give him a soft plastic bait and put it on a screw lock with no hook so that he can't hook himself or anyone else. And he loves to just cast that thing out and reel it in. And then when I hook a fish, I'll hand him my pole and let him reel that fish in. So it just makes for constant action. That's a good little tip there you might want to try. Keeps everything safe with the hooks and keeps them interested. And then just make sure you keep them comfortable as well. If it's hot, stop and take a swim break. If it's cold, make sure they're bundled up. Don't stay out too long. Just don't make it miserable for them. That's the main thing. We want to keep these fishing traditions going. We want to carry that on for generations to come. So make sure they want to go, as they get older. And speaking of older, at LTD Guide Service, I want to talk about real quick our bass fishing summer camp for the upper age kiddos. We take them from age 12 to 17. It's a week-long camp where we teach them all things bass fishing. It's my favorite week of the year. We have an absolute blast every year that we do it, and they really learn a lot. Many of our campers have gone on to be very successful high school and collegiate anglers. It's a lot of fun. Send them over, and we'll train them up for you. All right, now let's talk about some crappie fishing. We're going to start on Sam Rayburn. Crappie are cooperating a little bit better on Rayburn this week, finally getting into that summer pattern a little bit despite the water being really high and flooded, but it seems to have leveled off, so barring more heavy rain, we might even see some water level drop over there. Temperatures hanging in the mid to upper 80s, and the crappie are holding 20 to 30 feet of water around the timber, and the bridge pilings are suspended about 12 to 16 feet down from the surface. Minnows and jigs are both getting bites. Over here on Toledo Bend, the crappie are beginning to congregate in bigger schools here. out on the timber and bridge pilings in 15 to 30 feet of water. Once again, live minnows and the plastic panfish assassin jigs have both been good for catching them. And the monkey milk color has been the best lately for me. I like using that monkey milk panfish assassin a lot. And I've got a photo of some kiddos there with a big table full of crappie. And you can see a lot of happy kids there. A good example of going out and catching them crappie and making those kids smile.
Yes, sir. All right, tell us about the bass this week, Bub.
All right, so we're going to go up to Richland Chambers first. The bass are still on the brush up there at Chambers this week. Water's still high, still slightly over pool there. It's keeping a lot of those fish shallow. Water temperature's in the low 80s there. It's a little cooler on the upper end of my region there. The water is stained in the creeks and clear on the main lake. The bass are biting jigs around the brush with the Bass Assassin creature bait for the trailer. Now we're going to go back down to Sam Rayburn. More of the same. Flooded conditions are keeping those bass in the bushes, but the offshore bite is there too. It's gotten hot enough that it's bringing some of those fish offshore. So the points and the humps are producing a lot of fish on Carolina rigs, and then up shallow around the bushes, you can catch them good on top waters or pitching soft plastics into the bushes. Now to finish out, I'm going to come back to Toledo Bend. The bass here are still doing a little bit of everything, but the primary pattern is back offshore on the points and the flats where there's lots of bait and lots of yellow bass congregated. Look for those yellow bass. Those big largemouth love eating on those yellow bass. So when you see them, there may be a big one nearby. Texas rigs and Carolina rigs have been the best this week for that. And I've got one more photo here for you to finish out. This is an older photo from back this past spring, but it's one that just made my day and made that little man's day as well. He got to catch a pretty good-sized bass with me there, and we just love seeing that and love that smile. So I'll leave you with that.
All right, Bud, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Rodan Marine System hotspots from the Middle Fresh region. Matt says the crappie fishing is good in 15 to 30 feet of water. Try minnows and panfish assassin jigs to catch them. And then the bass fishing is hot in the morning and in the evening on Texas rig and Carolina rigged worms on the points. It's also good around the bushes on the flooded lakes with topwater baits and some soft plastics, Bree.
He had some good tips there. All right, next up, we're seeing how the youngins are reeling in the fun in the Sea Sucker Lower Coast region. But first, I know Dave Farrell has some rigs and techniques at the Yak Gear Workbench.
Yep, we're going to have you put them on the fish and try to catch as many as you can so that they don't get bored. You know, I get bored easy.
I was going to say, that sounds like my day of fishing, too.
I get bored easy if I ain't catching.
We'll be back.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here. Ameritrail. Load, launch, relax. Fenwick. Feel everything. Bahio. Blue light blocking, radically clear polarized fishing sunglasses. Sportsman's Adventures with Captain Rick Murphy. 30 years of fishing for adventure. Berkeley. Your fish, our science. And Skeeter Performance Fishing Boats. Eat, sleep, fish.
Well, Dave, we're here at the Yak Gear Workbench, and it's time for a few rigs and techniques. So what do you got for us this week, Bub?
Well, you know, when we take our little kids out, we have to realize that they're not as patient as we are. They might be more patient than I am, actually. But you want to try to pick a spot where you're going to, you know, almost virtually guaranteed to catch fish, like a dock near a ramp or someplace where you see a lot of brim and bluegill hanging around, place where you know there's some fish there, because to a kid, every fish is a trophy. Be it a brim, a crappie, even little minnows, little catfish, anything. It's a trophy for them. So, you know, just be patient with them and find a good spot where you're going to get into them really good. Use bait or chum to ensure success. Bread balls are great chum to throw into the water and get them fired up, and then you can put some fish baits on or fish bites on a little Aberdeen hook like this one right here.
Oh, this
a little gold, yes, little Aberdeen eagle claw hook with an Aberdeen hook has a long shank, and that allows you to get off those little pinfish. They can't swallow that whole hook down usually.
Right.
So it allows you to get those little panfish off easily, and and you can use worms too. You know, you can dig your own worms. The kids love to dig up worms and stuff. You know, you have to dig them out of this stuff. But you can, if you have a yard where you got some black dirt, you can dig up your own worms.
That's the right size there, Dave.
Yeah, exactly. And kids would love to pick out their worms and stuff. Insects, catch grasshoppers with them. That's all part of it. It could be big fun for them. I also have a little minnow trap over here.
Yeah.
And a little minnow trap like this one, it comes with bait and everything. It's got a little V in there, so when you put the bait in there and attach a little rope, a little line around the mouth of it here, you can catch minnows, and that's always a cool thing for the kids to do. They can see the minnows in the jar and whatnot.
Right.
Just follow the directions on the trap, and you'll catch all kinds of stuff. This trap will even allow you to catch insects and stuff if you put sugar water in it. So
I was always fascinated as a kid with the worms,
Oh yeah, exactly.
Stringing them on there and then watching his little butt wiggle all over the place trying to get off.
There you go.
Go back in the dirt.
Yep. And like a bunch of the fellows were saying, a bobber is your friend. This gives the kids something to focus on when you're fishing. They can watch that bobber, and when they see that bobber move, it really excites them. They know something's going on, and it's not only an indicator, but just allows them to focus on something.
Now, if the mom and dads are getting started, is there some kits that you can get?
These are Eagle Claw freshwater tackle kit. They also come with a saltwater one. This has 83 different pieces to it. It's got the bobbers in there. It's got hooks for crappie, for bass, for catfish even. It's got a degorger if you're catching stuff and you want to get the hook out, big catfish and whatnot. It's got a crappie jig in there.
Stringer.
4 or 5 crappie jigs actually, and a rig for your minnows to put on there.
And what would you recommend for a rod and reel combo
we got this,
that's not going to break the bank?
Well, we got the Penn Fierce 4 here, which is a really, we don't have nothing you wipe your hands on.
Oh, no.
This is a really nice combo. It's got a full metal body inside, so it's very durable. It's got the HT100 carbon fiber drag, so it really works well. 4 sealed stainless steel ball bearings. The super line spool with the lines on it, so you can show how much line you need to put on there. And it's got Duro guides, which don't have inserts, which I wish even some of the more expensive rods had the Duro guides on them, because I have a stack of rods at home with guides that are out,
that are missing,
that I have to go fix. That's a 6 foot 6 inch, perfect for a pier or a dock, medium light. Use light line, 6 to 10 pound mono. Don't use braid when they're little kids, because that braid can cut you and it's hard to break, and they're going to get tangled up a lot. So, use a lighter monofilament.
I learned a lot.
Oh, did you?
I did.
It's been a long time since Rick's kids were little baby ones,
I forgot
right?
some things.
Exactly. Live bait, too, is key. Half of it you fish with, half of it you play with. So
right.
If anyone knows the do's and don'ts for getting the little ones on the water and loving it, it's our Sea Sucker Lower Coast Region Captain, Chad Kinney. Chad, you've had some practice with your 3 girls, so help us out.
Oh, yeah. No, I love it. And growing up with my dad used to take me fishing every single weekend, which now that you're older now, you really appreciate it and look back. So I love taking kids out, and that's where it all starts. It's a really good deal. So talking about taking kids out, I mean, it's really exciting. You can see their excitement in their face. But the cool thing is you can teach them the outdoors, also how to respect, the natural resources. It's great. So if you have some kids, take some time out. Everybody's busy nowadays, so just take some time out, take them fishing. Right now, the trout fishing is really good fishing right now on the lower coast. So I take them out there and do some trout fishing and go from there. And just an observation and raising my kids and stuff like that, and even growing up, I've seen through the years, teach them how to cast and what to expect. But most of all, when they get the signs of fatigue, push them a little bit, but don't push them too far. You don't want to burn them out. So you can start the boat, go for a boat ride, let them explore some stuff, go to a little beach, hang out for a little bit like that, and then go fish some more and then head back in and go have some lunch or something like that, and it'll keep them going. And they'll respect that going out through there. It's worth all the smiles and stuff like that. And I just got a lot of good childhood memories doing this stuff. So I love seeing the kids do it. And got a great picture here of Nolan Reynolds. He's the son of Connor Reynolds and his uncle Hubba. They're both guides there, and this little guy is out there catching his first trout there like that. So he'll be probably a future guide here coming up at the deckhand. So moving over to the inshore, like I said, trout fishing it's been really, really good. We got some really high tides since we've had some weather coming in, a little bit of tropical weather. It's about 2 foot up, which is really unusual for us, but there's been some scattered redfish way up on the east side in the flats early. So talking about the trout, they're still holding that normal water depth of like 3 to 4 foot, so you add about 2 foot to it. And it's going to start dropping here in a little bit, but that tidal surge, when you're checking your depths, just add that to it. But they're still holding the same areas. They're holding them those grass beds, sand pockets, sunken spoils. With these lighter winds, you can drift with the lighter winds. And try some saltwater assassin sea shad with 1/8-ounce jig head, eagle claw. They're working really good. There's been a lot of surface grass due to that weather we've had and stuff like that. So if it gets really, really thick like that, it's kind of hard to throw the Berkeley or mirror top waters. So what you can do, you can, especially if you're fishing the kids, switch over to a popping cork and use like a 24 to 30 inch leader on it. Attached to it, use a Savage 3D shrimp to it if you don't want to mess with live bait. And just work those areas. You can cast that into there, get it out of the grass, and just work that area, work those grass pockets, and it'll work out really good for you. The redfish, like I mentioned, this bay expanded a whole bunch down here in the lower coast through the water, so they pushed up with these higher tides. It's been really kind of hit and miss, but try real shallow early, look for some bait, basically finger mullet and mullet moving through there. Try some gold spoons or power pole down. If you're in that area and you see a big old mud bowl or mud with the mullet moving, try some fish bites on a Carolina rig. You can try the east side, way up there shallow like that. If not, get to the west shoreline for the best results. Once the tides go back to normal, redfish should concentrate a lot better, and I'll update you guys when and how to find them, where they're at. So got a good picture here from a good friend of mine, Sea Spray Charters, Texas Slam, and don't get much better than that. You got your trout, reds, flatties, Sea Spray Charters at Captain Eric Sauls.
Nice.
So moving over to offshore, due to the weather, offshore has been tough to get out. But when you do get a window, try for some red snapper out there, and the kingfisher up on the beach and close to that area. So we'll talk about some kingfisher showing up around the jetties, beachfront, any structure you got. So look for some surface bait balls. There's been a lot of bait moving around the jetties and beachfront, which is a really good sign. And you can also look on your sonar for bait balls in there. So throw some Savage Max sticks on there. I like, of course, rig them with wire if you're getting these guys there. But these baits run really, really true. And they can go up to higher speeds, but on kingfish, going about 6.5 to 7.5 knots. Like running about 2 to 3 lines on a Penn 16 to 30 wide international, rigged with 30-pound Berkeley Chrome mono. But running less lines allows you to turn quicker. We talked about that. It lets you get back on the bait balls faster, and you can clear lines a lot quicker. And not to mention, when you get the fish in and back out, you can only put 2 or 3 back out. It gets a lot quicker, and you're back in action.
Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the hot spots from the lower coast region. Chad says that the tides have gone up 2 feet with the weather, but the trout still are holding in the grass beds and sand pockets where it's normally 4 feet deep. They're scattered redfish all the way up and down on the flats and then offshore. It's been difficult to get out, but plenty of kingfish around the beachfront and in that nearby structure.
All right, well, anglers get ready for the 43rd annual Key West Marlin Tournament, July 17th through the 20th, with record-breaking payouts, legendary offshore angling, and of course those nightly festivities in the iconic Florida Keys. A Hemingway-esque adventure awaits. So make sure you get registered at keywestmarlin.com.
Bree, there's a lot of great billfish, sportfish boats that live in Texas.
Oh, yes.
I would love to get to fish against those guys and talk to them in Key West. So guys, come on down, man. I'll be the first one to buy you a drink.
Absolutely. All right, well, we're casting into the front runner boats upper coast and fish bites middle coast regions when we come back. So keep those snacks on hand, and remember to keep up with everything fishing in Texas. Scan that QR code on your screen to check out all of our social media pages, YouTube channel, Captain Rick Murphy, where you can see new fishing adventures and reports. Plus, on our website, we have a brand new show merchandise to enhance your fishing wardrobe. So scan away and get yours now. We'll be right back.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Bass Assassin and Saltwater Assassin, the best lures, period. Berkeley, your fish, our science. Murphy's Law Sport Fishing. Book your trip today at murphyslawsportfishing.com. Abyss Battery. Power your pursuit. Ducks Unlimited. Leader in wetlands conservation. Rodan. Set it, forget it, catch more fish. Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome. And Penn. Let the battle begin.
Bree, we've got this beautiful Skeeter behind us.
We do.
But we also got some really cool Skeeter products to talk about. So why don't we take a look and see what we're talking about this week?
All right, let's do it.
Hey guys, Ryan Rickard here at the show talking today about the new Skeeter SX241. Really cool features on this boat that I'll point out to you. First of all, on the front deck, a lot of storage, including an anchor locker storage, multiple storage compartments in the middle, and then also rod locker storage, either each side or only on one side if you'd like. The new non-skid is great, super easy to clean, and a great new surface. As you jump down to the floor, there's also an additional compartment for your cast net storage or anything else wet that you might want to use in the boat. Also into the console, new console design, front entry and rear entry. And this year on DEC controlled motors, there's a new siren monitoring system. You can monitor your batteries, your GPS position, or anything in your bilge. As we come to this front side, here's a removable lid. It's got tackle storage. You can use it for phone storage, wallet storage, and if you use your phone there, there's a quick charging station inside. Up on the dash this year, we love this. It's recessed, resettable switches for a new dash design. Going to your leaning post, this is the standard leaning post. You have dual options. You can get a leaning post live well or this one. If you go with the standard leaning post, we've added tackle storage this year. And also a rollout cooler. Jumping to the back deck, this is what I really love. This year, look at the access to your bilge. Anything easily repairable. If you got to repair or replace a cartridge, super easy access to get into. And in the top of this, we now have a center jump seat instead of individuals. Rear live wells on each side. And then obviously the unmatched Yamaha 300 4-stroke motor.
All right, well, our captain in the Front Runner Boats Upper Coast region is putting the kids on the fish and the smiles on the kids. So, Carl, let's hear it.
Let's hear it, Carl.
Hey, guys. Hey, let's talk about that, how much fun it is actually to take kids fishing. I mean, I've had some of my favorite trips when there's young anglers on board. Rick, you know, the excitement in those faces is just priceless. They're always happy. They're happy for a boat ride. Catching bait is more fun for them than most people's big catch of the day. You know, sometimes, you know, something that they don't ever forget. Their first fish, sighting their first dolphin, things that we take for granted because we see it every day is just amazing for them. So I always take my taco marine shade fin. For the young crowd's important, sunscreen, proper attire. Make your trips a little shorter so they don't get so bored. Have plenty of cold drinks, snacks. They're going to have a great time and you'll make lifelong fishing friends, I promise you. I have a picture today of our little Braven fishing from the beach, catching them 2 at a time, Rick.
Yeah,
So
man.
cute, just like her mama. Love it.
All right, what else you got?
Well, the trout bite is improving by the day. You know, here in the Upper Coast, I think we're back. They're really back this year, where we're seeing big fish caught along the beaches. The tidal surge that we had from the storm has brought in clean water, pushed stuff all the way back. It's funny, there are people, I've seen pictures of people catching fish in their driveways along the road. It's just that cleaner water. So it's time to pull out those dark-colored lures again, like the Fight Club, Shrimp, and Knockout on a quarter-ounce jig head. Helps in these windy conditions a little bit, too. Let's stick with that 3-foot of Berkeley Vantage leader. Now, live bait's going to be shrimp or mullet, free-lined on a small split shot, about 12 inches back from your bait, guys. Don't forget to go online and check out all the great products that Sea Sucker also has to offer for fishing accessories. Get them talking right today. We have a picture of young Dylan with a very nice trout.
Nice. All right, it's time to go offshore, bub.
Okay, so it's windy and rainy the past week. We all know we had a little system come through, but the red snapper is in full swing. The fish are out there. They're hungry. They're getting better size. We're getting bigger fish on bigger structure. This influx of cleaner water coming from these storms will push it closer. It's going to help out. Cut squid, fresh bait is where it's going to be. I use a slip rig with about 160-pound mono, 16-ounce egg sinker, and a 10-aught Dark circle hook. I'd say a medium-weight pen, say a 6-foot spinning rod and reel, is a real must for snapper fish. That's a lot of fun to fight them on that light tackle. And a great tool for bottom fishing, like we talked about before, that Rodan trolling motor. If you don't have one, man, paired to an awesome Abyss battery, there's a setup that makes holding a spot so easy, and that's where the real fun comes in. I have a picture today of the ladies. We got Kaylee, Bailey, and Jessica with a nice snapper.
Nice. Looking good, dude. All right, one to go. Any grouper reports?
Yeah, let's head deep. Lucky enough, if you own one of these beautiful front runner boats, which I know someone that's getting one, I'm jealous. I want to ride to the drop-off to go catch some grouper. Warsaw is really a true prize fish to land here in this part of the Gulf. The area we target will be deeper, deeper water structure, and some of those old cutoff rigs will hold some nice fish. From 350 all the way out to 700, Rick. I think you cranked up one from that place I'm speaking about, 750. And when you're targeting this fish, just use big heavy gear. 50Y is a plus 2-speed, and is my choice. And you can vouch for that stand-up fight with like Rick on one of these studs. I'm telling you, they give it to you. And I've got a picture today of my buddy JT with one that's going to wow you. Look at this one.
Ooh, wow. You did wow me, dude. That's a nice one, man. All right. Well, you'll be the first one I call when I get ready to head to the west. It's time for the Upscale Glass Company Hotspots. Thank you, Carl. Carl says that this week, you know what? Inshore guys chasing trout along the beachfront, throwing a fight club on a 1/4-ounce jig head in the knockout color, and then offshore, deep dropping for the red snappers on offshore structures in 170 plus depth with a slip sinker rig tipped with a fish bites or a squid.
What a closing photo there, Carl.
Yeah, man.
That was awesome.
Show-stopping.
All right, well, there are so many advantages to getting the littles into the fishing scene, so let's find out from Captain Bink Grimes what some of those are in the Fish Bites Middle Coast region. Hi, Bink.
Hey, how are y'all, man? More kids are on the boat in June than any time of the year. Water and fishing is therapeutic after a year hitting the books. We welcome these kids. We like it when they're here. We like them on their boat. When we have them, it gives them time to relax, spend time with the family, and keep sparking commerce in our outdoor fishing industry. Keep it simple with the young ones. Do what you can to bend a rod. It doesn't matter what it is for them. They just want to see the dunk of the cork or the race and drag, hear that race and drag of a redfish. They will never forget the first time, and that will prompt many, many more times for you. Bring a camera, bring a lunch, bring your patience. You're continuing to build the future of our fisheries when you bring the kids. It's just a joy to have them, and we welcome kids here at the Sunrise Lodge. This week, we dealt with tropical tides and rains last week. Tides ran 4 to 5 feet above normal. It really, really surprised us. We didn't get much fishing in last week because I was cleaning, doing storm damage to my lodge. But the good thing about a storm surge, it always helps our fisheries. In Palacios, upper reaches of the bay like Tres Palacios Bay and Caruncle Bay have been good along the shorelines, holding shell. God raised sections, been wading tight to those reefs and picking off trout early in the morning. Waders in East Bay have used small topwaters and bass assassins and found good fish off the tips of the reef. Drifters have found calmer winds with a storm. And what I've been doing, I've been throwing shrimp imitations under a cork and tipping them with fish bites, and did really, really well. We've been doing well all week. Port O'Connor continues to shine for trout around Pascoval. Early morning topwater action's been good in the morning, and then we've been working those chest-deep channels later with bass assassins and mirror lure soft dines. Then in Rockport, we're tossing corkies and soft dines on the sand and grass humps. That big tide coming in from the Lydia Ann Channel has been bringing a lot of fish from the Gulf. The jetty park around Surfside has been good for anglers walking the rock. It was a little tough to walk the rock this past week with those storm tides, but tides are getting back to normal, and those rocks should come along very, very good as we get into July. Redfish action back lakes in the Oyster Lake, Crab Lake, Horse Trailer Lakes are holding red. Don't be surprised to find black drum over those reefs and those lakes as well. Shell Island's been good with the high tides, lots of black drum there. Pringle, Conti, and Shoalwater are holding a good number of reds. Rockport anglers have found redfish in the far reaches of the marsh with their boats. Those spots that have normally produced ducks in the winter are filled with redfish, especially with these storm tides. If you want those big bull reds, it's a broken record every week, but those oversized reds are hanging on at the jetties. There's some monster reds in Port O'Connor, Freeport, and those finger mullets and pogies are getting the job done. And with these big storm tides that we had, I caught huge reds in the bay this week that are normally not there. So they came through the passes and got into our bays. Got a photo on a boat with a kid with a fish, makes a good Christmas card. It brings a smile to their face, and it's a great place to put on the wall for years to come. And I've got pictures of my kid that I just walk by sometimes and just laugh thinking about that day that was 10 years ago. Pretty cool doing it. Red snapper action's been bumpy in the Gulf this past week with Tropical Storm Alberto, but it's calmed down now, and people are going out this week. Red snapper are always there in at 40 to 80 foot of water. Kingfish are beginning to show closer to the beach. Still lots of swords and tuna, 80 to 100 miles out. So it's things are calming down around Texas. We had a tough week last week, but things are calming down, and we're getting back out there. It's hot out there. Stay hydrated. I've been impressed with just to be able to see everything below the surface right now. I've been wearing Bahia sunglasses, and I really, really enjoy them. Been seeing more things than I normally did back in the day. Keep doing, just keep doing what's best for our bays as well. Please continue to practice catch and release. Catch and release is cool.
So, Bink, I got a question for you. You talked about storm surge. Did you get some damage at the lodge butt?
Yeah, I did. I sure did. I had 4 to 5 foot underneath there, and it was. I did a lot of cleanup. It wasn't as bad as it could have been, but it was kind of bad.
Well, at least did it get in the lodge or just underneath?
Yeah, just underneath. We didn't have any kind of wind problems. Any damage from wind. It was just the surge. The surge was just incredible. It wasn't supposed to be that bad, but man, it was.
Well, the combination of that and the big tides from the full moon, that's a bad combo, bub. Glad everything's okay. Sorry you had a little extra work, but you got a vacation coming ahead, so you'll recover quite nicely. All right, bud, thank you so much. Great report from the Middle Coast. We're going to take a look at the mirror lure hotspots. Bink says that the trout are good around Freeport while walking the jetties and tossing top waters and bass assasses. The redfish are best in the back lakes and in the guts and bios on the incoming tide.
It just never is what they say it's going to be, am I right?
It never is.
It never is. All right, we're seeing what the babes are up to in the upper fresh region when we come back. But first, our babe Farrell is back at the Yak Gear Workbench for new products.
Yeah, we got some stuff for the kids and some stuff for the pops. So we got you covered.
That's a colorful
Great.
workbench
We'll be
this
back.
week. Can't wait to see.
The Texas Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Abu Garcia, Fish to Win, Fenwick, Feel Everything, Berkeley Pro Spec Chrome, Island Lures, Tournament Tackle, Sea Sucker, easy on, easy off, incredibly strong. Turn on the bite anytime. Tie on a mirror lure. Front Runner Boats, performance-built offshore fishing boats made in the USA. And Startron, start, run, and store with Startron.
Today's Power Pull tip is about the total boat control package. When you put a Power Pull charge in your boat, a Power Pull move on the bow, and our shallow water anchors on the back, you save over 80 to 90 pounds on your boat compared to the competition. That's a 43% weight savings. To put that in perspective, that's 20 bags of ice out of the boat, 10 gallons of fuel, or 1,300 jig heads coming out of the boat to give you a shallower draft, a better hole shot, or more top-end speed. That's the Power Pull Premium brand. It's hardcore anglers building the best products in the marine industry, backed by the best customer service here in Tampa, Florida. To learn more about Power Pull, go to powerpull.com, and that's your Power Pull tip.
Well, we're back here at the Yak Gear Workbench, and it's time for the Taco Marine new products,
Yes,
Dave.
sir.
So you got a really colorful bench. Let's just get started.
Well, we're going to start there with a little Plano 2-tray box there. It's a perfect for a kid's first tackle box. That's the 6202-06, and it's less than $15 for that little tackle box.
Wow.
It's got 2 top access compartments on the very top.
Right.
And you can just put little hooks and weights in there. It's got a big brass latch on it, and it's nice and big so the little kids' hands can get in there and get a hold of it. It's got 13 compartments, and they're all customizable. Comes with all the little slats in here, so you can change the sizes for each one of them.
Yep.
And also is a nice little rugged build. Not a whole lot of metal in there to rust. That brass isn't going to rust.
Right.
So that thing will last for a long time. And there's little compartments on the top. You can put the stuff that you normally use, like little weights or hooks on those top compartments as well. So just a really good little tackle box for, like I said, under $15 for a kid's first tackle box.
I think every child should have one.
They should.
Let's start a GoFundMe tackle tray box giveaway.
There you go. PlanoMolding.com.
All right.
Next, we got a shirt from AFTCO there. That's the AFTCO Youth Huge Catch. It's a UVX LS long sleeved sun protection shirt. It's got a really cool graphic on the back there, a big bluefin tuna and a sport boat there. Really cool shirt. It's made from 12% spandex and 88% recycled polyester. They take plastic bottles and they recycle them and turn them into this polyester material. Very soft, UPF 50. So the kids will keep them out of the sun. Always use the long sleeves. Quick dry, moisture wicking fabric as well. So it's nice and cool. And that's a performance fit shirt as well. So,
yeah. And you know what? Once you start as an AFTCO guy,
it's hard to get off it.
Yeah, man.
I'm still an AFTCO guy myself.
I know.
Go to AFTCO.com to get some of that. Next, we have the Sea Sucker, the basking bag. This is called the basking bag. Yeah, there you go. Turn it to this part right here to the side a little bit. Bam. There you go. It's called the basking bag because it's named after the basking shark because of this wide mouth that is collapsible. That's what a basking shark has. It's the ultimate trash solution for your boat. No more throwing the trash into the empty live well like we were doing the other day,
right.
Or a storage space, or a bag tied to the steering wheel, which we've all done. Keeps garbage out of the way, and it's really easy to clean. You can put dirty laundry in it too if you have a big boat.
Yes.
It's collapsible to minimize the mess and keep the trash in. Once you close that thing down, it's not going to blow out. Once you start underway.
Stick it on any flat surface and
it's
pump
got that
up.
vacuum mount on there.
Pump
120 pound, so it's not going to come off once you put it on a nice flat surface. You can fill that thing all the way up, and it comes with a little extra pocket here if you want to put some stuff in there, some line or whatnot. So anyway, seasucker.com to get you that basking bag. A really cool bag.
Dave, I sold a Harley, a 1952 Chevy, and a Porsche in about a 3-month period because I got tired of messing with the batteries, and every time
you got to use it,
yeah.
Well, you should have had one of these.
If I would have had one of these, I probably would have kept them all.
This is the battery tender from Battery Tender. It's the Wave Charger 3-bank selectable, and what it'll do, it'll charge up to 3 different batteries and keep them maintained, all independently. They're all independent charging banks on there, and you can use lithium batteries or lead batteries, doesn't matter. Safe for long-term storage, like you were talking about. It automatically switches to float mode to prevent overcharge and maintains an optimal charge, which prolongs the life of the battery if it's charged up properly. The LED indicators display shows the status of each battery. Comes with the alligator clips.
Charger.
The alligator clips also have a ring inside. You can undo that screw if you don't have posts. You can use them on a cable.
Right.
So very cool.
Very well thought out.
Dust and waterproof standards. Shock resistant. Only weighs 3.5 pounds and comes with a 2-year warranty as well.
I love it. Where do we go to buy?
BatteryTender.com to get you one of those.
Thank you guys so much. Good job over here. Hey, Bree, I think I got something that we can put Leo in when we take him in the boat.
Oh, finally.
He ain't coming out.
That's a perfect spot for him. Also, it'd be great for some dive gear, too. All right, we're making those core memories in the Upper Fresh region with Mike McFarland. So tell us where we're catching him, Mike.
Hey, Bree. Hey, Captain. Hey, Dave. This theme is one of my most favorites of all that we do. Kids fishing. Shoot, I could talk this whole time about that alone. Like Dave said, even just the very first tackle box they get, I almost teared up when I heard Dave talk about that. But I started fishing at a very young age of 4. Almost 50 years later, I remember it like it was yesterday. And the value that I've had through my life being a fisherman is amazing. So my love for fishing has never changed. I think taking the kids fishing truly wins my heart over. What you see and what you learn on the water just goes much further than what's even caught on a fishing line. I take all types of clients fishing, father and son, daughter. Even I've taken mother, daughter, and they're my personal favorites. We laugh, we learn, we have something special happen, even magical happen almost every time. And there's that memory of a lifetime that we'll all look back and remember. So, like I said, I could talk forever, but let's get you some fishing reports. Largemouth bass on Ray Hubbard with Joe Shipley. Joe says, leave everything in home except your shaky head rod and your shaky heads. Focus on rocks, structure, areas, bridge corners, and pylons. Green pumpkin with tail dip chartreuse. I can tell you a personal favorite for me is Bass Assassin tap-out worm, the 7.5-inch tap-out worm, green pumpkin chartreuse. That's all you need on Ray Hubbard. Milwaukee, Matt Cartwright said there's a great top water bite there. Bass fishing is excellent. Early morning top water around anything sticking up out of the shallow water. Frogs and poppers are your best bets. And then there's some stick bait stuff like weightless stick baits where you could use the Bass Assassin's Fat Job a little later in the day around the deeper dock edges. Lake Levon, the bass there are on submerged timber. So Terry Thorne says the spinner baits and chatter baits sometimes are catching some early morning fish. Then Texas rigged worms later in the day. Slow down when you catch one because they're schooling together. And when you're on one, you're on a bunch. So that's Levon. Lake Fork. Lake Fork's fishing, awesome. It's probably the best time of year for Lake Fork. It's a time of year to use your electronics. If you're not really good with your electronics, you're going to struggle on Fork. But good electronics in use, football jigs, and big worms are the best way to catch big bass on Fork right now. Deep point structure, 16 to 24 feet. And here's just a couple of recent picks. These are Lake Fork specials. This is the average common fish that you'll run into, and you can really catch a lot of these on a daily basis.
All right, bud, what else you got for us? Nice.
Lake Levon, crappie. Crappie are scattered there, 10 to 30 feet. Terry Thorne says that he's seeing more and more in 10 to 20 feet on timber, minnows, and hand-tied jigs. Lake Fork with Jackie Wiggins. The crappie's excellent there, as always, it seems to be on Fork. They're going into the dog days of summer. He's fishing all the places that you typically would see summer-type crappie, holding on brush piles, deep summer trees, laydowns, bridges, docks, things like that. 14 to 30 feet is the best depth. He's also seen some fish that are in deeper water, like 40, 50, but they're actually in the 14 to 16 above a thermocline, so watch for that. Your typical hand-tied jigs and stuff like that are good. Sometimes the fish are finicky, so if you'll shave off a little bit of the tail of that hair on that jig for those finicky fish, you'll have a better hookup ratio. And then, of course, minnows. Minnows are always a good go-to. Here's Jackie Wiggins, some pics of Jackie Wiggins, and again, the nice tables of big old Lake Fork crappie.
Whoa. Wow. All right, tell us about the stripers.
Stripers on Levon, white bass scattered 10 to 15 feet. They're moving fast. They're following shad. So if you find them moving along, use small swim baits and 2 to 3 inch. Otherwise, just 1 ounce slab spoons and 20 to 30 feet on spoons. And then Tawakoni, the hybrids and stripers have kind of disappeared. Matt said he's really struggling to find those bigger hybrids and stripers. But the sand bass, they're schooling early and late just about everywhere. Chartreuse slabs and spoons are catching really easy limits of the sand bass on Tawakoni. And that's kind of what I got for you. Again, take a kid fishing, man. I really treasure all those. The memories I wish I could do all over again. I wish I could be a kid again. That'd be amazing.
All right, bud. Thank you so much. Did a good job. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Ducks Unlimited hot spots from the Upper Fresh region. Mike says that the giant bass are being caught daily in easy limits of huge crappie. Catfish are brought to the cleaning table throughout the whole day. The Lake Fork fishing is at its best right now. It's so funny how in his region, Dave, he had really good fishing on Fork, as good as it gets the best time of year, but then down the street, Cartwright's struggling to catch his white bass.
Right.
Wonder what happened.
I don't know. It's probably to do with the water and everything. They have such fluctuating water levels in those lakes. It's just it's crazy to keep track of it, and it's hard because of the heat and the fluctuating water levels. You know, when the water gets real low and they get all concentrated, you catch them really good, and then when it floods everything, they're spread out everywhere.
It's like
harder and harder.
It's like the freshwater guys got to deal with that, like we have to deal with the tides and saltwater.
Right.
Well, that's what the show's for.
That's
so
exactly
that
what
make it
the
easier
show's
for y'all guys.
Good point there.
Exactly.
Pumpkin.
Thought I had to chime in.
Y'all send me an email. Tell me how you like Bree's pumpkin outfit. I love it.
It's a
orange and black.
Pagoda.
She's getting
not pumpkin.
She's getting Halloween
Bye
ready.
guys. Get those kids out there and catch those fish. We'll see you
Halloween.
next week.
I look like a pumpkin.
Nonsense.